Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pursuing Excellence podcast. I'm your host, Jay Gay, here today with Mike Isma, consultant here at American Express. Also, does some other things as well. Mike, we appreciate you coming on the show today. Very glad to be talking with you.
Hey, thanks for allowing me to come on. I'm definitely appreciative for this opportunity. And any way I can give value, man, I love to do it.
Yes, sir. So, Mike, how's everything going with you, man, right now? Everything going great with you?
Yeah, everything's going good, man. Just moved from Columbus, Ohio to Atlanta. It's been roughly, 6 months now. And so I'm getting accustomed to a whole new different environment, a whole new different energy, a whole new different culture. But besides that, everything's going good.
Yeah. So it's obviously a different, different type of lifestyle down here, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. More fast paced and more flavor.
Yeah. Right. So you can tell us a little bit about yourself, man, so our viewers and audience get to know you better, Mike?
Yeah, sure. Originally from Miami, right? So I'm from the bottom, as we like to say. Parents are from Haiti. I did all my schooling in Miami. I played football down there at a small school. Then I went on to FAU, so go Owls, right? For all my Owls people there. Studied marketing, small business, played a little ball there as well. That's where I was just really grinding, man, in college. I mean, got hurt a little bit playing college ball. And then, I was like, okay, well, I got to fall back on my degree. I got to find something to do because my dreams of going to the NFL, that kind of diminished, right? And so I was grinding like the most people in college, man. I was a broke college student. I was working 3 jobs and going to school full time. And I was just grinding it out. And I realized going through college that college was just a business, right? It was just like, okay, I'm just going to put you in this seat. I'm going to make money off you. But they weren't teaching me necessarily how to become successful, so to speak. They were teaching me how to basically get a job, right? And, back then it was, I'd be lucky if I did get a job because so many people are coming out, right?
Yeah.
So graduated from college, marketing small business. From there, I worked at a small furniture company down in the Southeast called City Furniture. I was in their sales intern program, right? I did very well there, moved up the ranks.
Mike, lost you there for a second.
Automotive space. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can now.
Okay. Transitioned to the automotive space, went into their leadership program. And I was working 60, 70 hours a week, man. Just grinding it out. I was just grinding, right? I tell people, look, I can't even remember my 20s because I was working so hard, right?
Oh, wow.
When everybody was going out, everybody was having fun, they'd be like, hey, Mike, you coming out? Nah, man, I'm at work, So, but that's basically what I did. And I learned from by doing that this wasn't the life for me, so to speak. I didn't want to just be working for that paycheck, and I had to figure some things out on how to supplement my income or, just add more value in regard to I don't have to work that hard or I can transition to another job, right? So I think we all feel it where it was like, man, I'm a hard worker, but I just feel like, working for someone isn't really doing me any good, if that makes sense, right? So throughout that whole time of me coming out of school and working, got engaged, and I was like, man, I got to find something to do. And so what happened was I transitioned from working in the retail space for the company I was with into their inspection center, right? But here's the kicker, it was 5:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. That was my shift Monday through Friday. So it sounds pretty good, but I was driving from Miami all the way to West Palm Beach. It was like an hour and 10-minute drive every morning, right?
Wow.
And so I would get off at 2:30, but I wouldn't get home till 5:30, 6 p.m. at night. And so that was a very interesting time for myself and my family. And me being so entrepreneurship driven, I was like, well, you know what? Let me get into real estate. Let me see what I can do. I got a little bit of money coming in. I got good credit. So I said to myself, let me find an investment property that's roughly 5 to 15 minutes away from where I work, and that way it'll shorten my commute, and I can be with my family, right? That sounds like a pretty good idea. And I found that property, right? And I closed on that property on a Wednesday, and next week Wednesday I got laid off, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I got laid off with a brand new baby who was born prematurely, right? And due to her being premature, my wife wasn't working, so she was out of commission. And it was very interesting times, right? It was very interesting times. But we have an old saying in the Haitian community. It says, "Put man on you." And what that means is you just got to toughen up. You got to toughen up. And so once that happened, man, I started working, through another 3-4 jobs just to help the family because the income got slashed, and did that for roughly a year, right? Because we had a brand new newborn, so I couldn't take a regular corporate job, nor could I start investing in other ventures because my time was needed at home. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Right. And so I was there and did that for roughly a year and a half, where I was just working 2-3 jobs. And, I've worked a lot of jobs, man. I tell people, look, I am the original island man. I've had over 20 different jobs and I'm close to 40. Right. And so did that for a little bit and got out of that funk. And basically the company that laid me off originally brought me back on board, sent me to Columbus, Ohio. I wasn't a big fan of the environment I was in. It was too cold, too gloomy. But at the same time, I kept doing what I needed to do to advance. And what I tell a lot of people is like, look, man, sometimes you're not in the place where you want to be now. Don't focus on that. Don't focus on that. Focus on taking it day by day, step by step on getting to that place. And it's going to be a lot of struggles. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. It's going to be a lot of struggles. And you have to understand every day that you put forth the effort and the action, you're getting closer to your goal, right? And, I think sometimes as human beings, we're very short-sighted and we're just only focused on that particular instant, that particular moment. And I always tell people, look, you have to become outcome focused and saying, hey, I'm going through this, but I know if I can do this consistently and put effort and progression, I'll get to my goal. So I was in Columbus for 2.5 years. It was a very interesting time because once I got there, that's when COVID hit. And they shut the whole state down. Yeah. And luckily, my family wasn't with me at the time because I went up there first, to try to get our bearings and find school and all that different stuff. And I kid you not, 2 weeks later, the governor shut the state down. And so I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, if you were non-essential, you couldn't step out. But, fortunately for me, I was an essential worker. So I was able to, still go out there and work. But it was brutal. And especially being in Columbus and originally from Miami, the difference in temperature was a shock. I'm used to palm trees, coconuts, mangoes. You get over there, man, it's snow furies, people throwing salt outside. I'm like, what is the exorcism? Right? People with shovels. I'm over here like, come on, man. And so I did that for 2.5 years and transitioned to Atlanta. I left the company I was with. I'm making sure everybody understands everything is a staging point to the next point. And I was with that company for a while and I hated it, but I did what I needed to do to get to the next point. So I transitioned to Atlanta with them. I wasn't thrilled about the culture or the people I was working with. And I just told myself, I'm better than this. That's what I kept telling myself. I'm better than this. And applied to be a consultant at American Express. That was a long interview process. Throughout the whole transition of me going through my whole journey, I kept investing in real estate. So I kept understanding that, the laws of sowing and reaping, like I'm going to invest in something that, one day will bring me back a return. Right. And so that started a bubble for me as well. And I was back home in South Florida where the market is extremely hot. And so I applied to American Express. It was a job it was a job pretty much, I wouldn't say out of my league, but I knew it would be a challenge. And here's a tip. Don't be afraid to take challenges because you never know what can happen, right? The problem is most people are so afraid to take that chance that they miss out on a lot of opportunity, right? And I tell people all the time, look, you're going to mess up, right? You're going to fail. But understand that for every failure you have experienced, you're failing yourself forward to success, right? And a lot of people don't understand that. And it is tough, man. It's emotionally and mentally tough to go through failure and disappointment. Or sometimes you feel like, you're giving your all, but you're still not at the level you want to be. I get it. I understand. But understand this too. Anytime you start something in life that you're a novice in, you're going to go through so much failure and so much uncertainty that after a year to 2-3 years, you should be a master in that field or have some decent understanding of what's going on. Right? So don't ever be afraid to take a risk or do something new, because if you think about it, when we all had to ride our first bike, we were all scared, right? You fell, you bruised up your knees, your ankles. I mean, you were scared. But what happened? After those falls, you started to become an expert at riding a bike.
Yes.
That's the same principle you need to apply to everything in life. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be there's gonna be doubts. You're gonna mess up. Sometimes people ask you a question and you be like, hey, that is natural. Over time, and as long as you put the effort and consistency in, you'll start to see results, and you'll start becoming more fluent in that field. But yeah, I digress a little bit. But yeah, so basically, I was upset with my current job, and I always felt like I could do better. So I applied to American Express. It was a challenge, and one day something happened at work that I was not a fan of, and I stood my ground. And I told them, "Hey, I think you're just full of fecal matter." And basically, I wasn't budging, and I just gave them my 2-minute notice. Right? I gave them a 2-minute notice.
2 minutes.
Hey, you're lucky I even did that, right? You're lucky I even did that, because here's what people have to understand. Respect goes both ways.
It does.
Right? And that's where employers sometimes forget, as employees, we require respect and dignity as well. And one thing I won't tolerate is disrespect, right? It can come in many different fashions or forms. And if you're viewing this podcast, always understand your worth. Because if you understand your worth, no one can take that from you. So when people try to do something that's gonna, in my eyes, strip you of your dignity or your worth, you gotta say, nah, man, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, right? So gave them a 2-minute notice, and 3 hours later, American Express called me. You're hired for the job, right? I was like, hey, that's great news. So I've been a consultant for them for 6 months, and things that I invested in a couple of months or even years ago started to bubble up and give me a return. And I tell people all the time, it's like, hey, man, just find what you want to do, right? Just do something, right? Yeah. Because you can never, ever attain or gain anything if you continuously watch from the sidelines. You got to get in the game. You got to get in the game. You're going to get hit in the mouth. You're going to fall. You're going to scab up. But you have to put yourself in the game and put yourself in circles with other people that have the same vision you do. That way you can network, right? And you guys can pull each other up, right? And so that's what I've been doing here. Family's here now, based out of McDonough. It's and I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning the beautiful Atlanta metro area. There's a lot of things to do in Atlanta, so I'm just taking it one day at a time. But that's basically what's going on. And yeah, I hope I summed it up the last 6 months to roughly a year for y'all. But that's what's going on. And I'm always looking to, hey, like right now, I'm looking at new ventures because I want to pursue my passion as being an entrepreneur. I won't even say entrepreneur. I think really we have to establish a real definition and understanding what's the difference between an entrepreneur and business owner. I would say I'm more likely to be that in direction of being a legitimate business owner. So.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. That's all, man. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death.
No. That's you gave some great information, man. It's all true, especially getting out there in the game. Because I tell people this all the time, man. A closed door doesn't mean a locked door. You don't know until you go and try it. And so that being said, you don't know until you make that attempt. And like you said, a lot of problems that people have now is they're afraid of failure. And when you're afraid of failure, you're not able to, again, take advantage. You don't know. Opportunities might come to you, but you don't take the chance to go to make that attempt, you won't know, and you might miss out on those opportunities, and then you'll get to a point in life where you have regrets, and that's not where anybody wants to be. That's not where you want to be. That's not where I want to be. So I think the big thing about it now is we have to stay focused and dedicated, man. And persistence is extremely important now. Staying with things, even if it's day by day. It's you're building a foundation, right? Simple. So that's my whole thoughts on that, man. I mean, what can you speak on the importance of that? Just having that persistence and dedication in life, and how that can lead to success.
Yeah. So basically. I do agree with you, because it's two different pains that most individuals will experience in life, right? One, the pain that bothers most of the population on this earth is the pain of regret, right? What do I mean by that? People will always say, man, I wish I would have did this. man, I wish I should have did this. And it is a absolutely plague that plagues the population. That's the pain of regret, right? And then you have, on the flip side of the coin, the pain of discipline to attain your goals, right? You're gonna make a choice. Either it's gonna be one side the pain of regret, or the second side the pain of discipline to get the job done, right? I always tell people this. I'm roughly 4 years old. I've had a lot of great victories in my life. I'm always hungry, looking to always get more. But I'll give you an example of what I can remember of the pain of discipline and being consistent on your goals. So, I'm from Miami. Miami is a big football powerhouse city. You guys know that. And, I went to a local high school that traditionally had really winning records, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll give you a story. So in my first year as a freshman, I played on the JV team, believe it or not. And we had a defeated season, right? Not an undefeated season. We had a defeated season, right? And that was a very interesting time, right? Second year, we went 1-9, right, on the varsity level, right? But after that, right, so we basically went 2 years of not winning, right? But what happened was we committed to the goal of being a winning program. So every day we would work out, every day we would watch film, every day we would do anything to kind of advance us towards our goal, right? And at the time, we did not see what was happening, right? This is the law of compounding effect. This is what it's called. But for 2 years, we worked every day in the summers, in the winters. And coaches didn't have to come out there. We just did what we needed to do. So my junior year, what happened? We went 10-2. Phenomenal. We had some all-state players, this and that. You're like, man, where did this team come from? My junior year, we went 12-1, right? Winning the district, winning all this different stuff. And I say all that to say this, right? People have to understand the laws of success. It means anything you start, you will not be great at naturally, right? Even if you have athletic talent or you have a talent for whatever field, you still need a coach. You still need to be around people who have that same desire, who have that same passion. And then you have to commit to embracing the process, right? You have to commit to it, because what happens is people give up too early, right? They give up too early. They'll start, for example, if they're in a field and they're mining for gold, and they've been doing it for a year and a half, and they still not seeing the result of that work. And then they stop, but not knowing that 6 inches to the left, if they kept on going, they would have hit a gold mine. That's success, man. And it comes in different time periods for everyone, depending on your industry, depending on the level of competency where you're at, but that's success. And that's why I say you have to be consistent. It took me 7 years to get a 4-year degree. Hey, I'm not ashamed of it. I worked 4 jobs in college. I rode a bike everywhere. I was riding a bike 45 minutes to one job in a graveyard shift, riding the same bike back, taking a quick shower, go work another 2 jobs, and sleeping after that. Hey, so people have you have to be committed to it, and you have to be somewhat fanatical about it. Let me not even say the word somewhat. You have to be fanatical. This is how you have to dedicate yourself to your craft.
Yeah.
And you have to say, hey, you have to be realistic. It's like, hey, I'm gonna suck at this, man. The first year to 2 years, I might suck at this. But if I'm willing to commit to my craft and I'm willing to take strategic action every day, by whatever time period that happens, it should be an explosion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. It's a process that you have to trust and just continue to just. It's hard, but because if you love what you're doing, you're passionate about it, you're going to do whatever it takes to get it done, to get to the highest level. I feel like, and that's the thing. Now again, a lot of people struggle with that, because they don't want any setbacks, they don't want any adversity. But that's in life. That happens. You can't avoid it. So it's just a matter of how you embrace it. I always say this: there's a difference between responding and reacting to something. You react, it's not logical. It's just a quick, instant. It's just a reaction. You're not thinking. But when you respond, You're taking in what you've experienced or learned or heard, and you're using it to improve yourself. To grow. Use your mistakes to grow. And that's a big thing. And I feel like that's another thing we have to continue to get better at as people. So, but another problem that I think is something that is a big issue is conformity, man. Like the world pushes this narrative, especially now, that if you don't do this or that, or you're not like this, or you're not like that, then you're irrelevant to society, man. That's an issue because that's not. I tell everybody's unique and has their own talents and abilities, man. And so you have to know that you are worth something. Because, like you said earlier, man, you know your worth. Everybody's worth something in this world. But if you're not following a certain narrative, then you're not. That's crazy. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I think people who try to push that agenda have absolutely lost their common sense. Look, in 2023, it's so apparent that you can be yourself and still be successful. There's so much resources out there that you can still be successful, right? And like, I understand what people are trying to do. Like, for example, you'll hear the narrative, hey, you need to get good grades, go to school to get what? A good job, right? That's the narrative they push. And I understand why parents tell their kids that. I'm a parent, so I want my kids to get good grades too. But there's so many options to become successful in this day and age. You don't have to follow the path, right? Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Who's challenging him, right? Look at all these people who are creating apps nowadays. Look at people who are in their 20s who are millionaires in different industries. One thing I tell people is this: look, I understand the history, why we have to, why people before are pushing this narrative, yada yada yada. But I always say this: be yourself. Don't be a follower, right? Be yourself, because peer pressure is difficult for a lot of people, right? Be yourself, especially if it's coming from inside the household too, but you still have to be yourself in an authentic way, right? Because if you're not yourself, who else can be you, right? And here's what people have to understand. This little device here controls the world. It will tell you everything you need to know, or put you in position, or give you resources and access to resources on how to become successful in whatever you want to choose. Am I lying? No. Like, man, you say, man, I want to be the best cook of Jamaican food, whatever. Look that up. You can see all the popular Jamaican food chefs. You can see restaurants. This device, people are using this device wrongly. They're using it for their brain to be sucked up by social media, but they should be using it and leveraging it for the resources it provides and the doors it can open, right? Do you know, in today's day and age, this is the era where the most millionaires will be made in America? Look it up, guys. Do your research. Do your research. This is the era where the most millionaires will be made in America. And for you young people watching this, man, you're gonna be balling. You're gonna be doing better than me. I was working 4 jobs. I was cleaning toilets. Y'all young people get online, whatever. Y'all already making money, right?
Yeah.
You guys are able to network faster and more efficient than we ever could. But don't squander that opportunity by, being on IG all the time, on Facebook, looking at the wrong things. Understand, think about this, right? Here's a cheat sheet. Facebook and IG, they watch your algorithms, right? So if you like this girl's picture, what happens? You're going to get a lot of content about different women, different stuff, whatever, right? So I challenge you, do this. Start clicking links and liking posts that talk about self-development, self-growth, and how to be a multimillionaire. Because if IG and Facebook are feeding you information based on what you click, why not you start clicking more and more positive stuff so they can redirect that algorithm and feed you that? It's a resource, man. You got to play the game. So I tell you guys right now, don't be your own self. I got a mentor. I've done network marketing before. I've done different things, and the people who are successful, they say this: look at the masses and do the opposite. Right? Look at the masses and do the opposite, because the majority of the population in America is so easily brainwashed. They don't know how to think anymore. They don't know how to think anymore. They think, oh, this person did this, or this celebrity or is saying I should do this. No, not at all. You have your own mind, right? Don't be a follower, right? You got to stand on what's right. Like I see these, I'm a little bit more mature, and I'm looking at young people are looking for mentorship and guidance, but they're turning to social media to false celebrities, aka wannabe leaders, on how to guide them for their life. Yeah. And the majority of these celebrities, guys, if you didn't know it, they suffer from depression, right? They're not fulfilled. So why the heck would you want to follow that person? I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you, man. You're absolutely right. And it's a problem, because again, like you said, using this, but you have to use it for the right things, and we have so much access to all these resources and everything, like you said, you can know anything in a nanosecond just by using your phone, anything in the world, and there's good and evil that comes with that. And so it just depends on what choice you decide to go through, with. And again, I just think it all boils down to just continuing to trust in the process, trust, what God has set in store for you, and just building that foundation day by day, man. A lot of people want that easy, quick success, and it's no such thing. It takes time, and so people you have to focus on the right things. The mind, I say this, the mind is the most powerful weapon you can wield. It's something that nobody can take away from you. They can take your gun, they can take your knife, they can do all of that, but they can't take away this, man. They can't take away that. That's my thoughts.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. I wish more people understood that, because if more people really understood the power of the mind, a lot of issues we have in our society will be irrelevant right now.
Exactly. They would be completely irrelevant. So, but Mike, I appreciate you coming on today, talking that with us, just giving your insight on these certain topics here in our world today. And we appreciate your time, man. And man, thank you for coming on. Really do.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I feel very honored, and definitely I wish we could do more of these things in the future. And I look forward to helping you in any way and capacity I can.
Of course, man. Thank you. Hey, you know what? This will not be the last time that we see you on this podcast. I can guarantee you that right now.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks, man. And you guys have yourself a good one.
All right. You too, man.